How deep do you need to squat? It's an age-old question with the age-old answer of it really depends. And I know that seems like a cop-out, but it really does depend. And it depends on two main things. It depends on what you're training for. First of all, if you're training to be a power lifter, you only have to squat to parallel, so your hip crease in line with your knee, and you don't have to squat any lower. So for the most part, power lifters train a higher squat than other types of lifters. And those other types of lifters would be, let's say, an Olympic weightlifter or a bodybuilder. And a bodybuilder is going to squat much lower than a power lifter because they're trying to elicit the most hypertrophy they can out of each and every rep, and training each muscle and muscle group through a full range of motion is going to give you more hypertrophy. So you're going to squat lower. And if you're an Olympic weightlifter or CrossFitter, you want to squat a little bit lower because you're training for the snatch and the clean and jerk, in which we want to have strength in positions that are quite a bit lower because that's where we're going to catch the barbell. Now in this video here, you can see my client Tristen squatting, and I'll rewind here so we can see a few more reps. And Tristen's goals are to get better at the snatch, get better at the clean and jerk, get a heavier back squat, heavier front squat. And if those are his goals, I would say, watching him as a coach, I'd say he's squatting a little bit high. He's a little bit tilted forward. His back doesn't look as tight as it could be. And that is something that right away I wanted to fix with him. So this is like the very first week, actually the very first squat workout that I had Tristen do. And it's a higher volume phase he's going through. So we did a lot of reps, and I got to see a lot of reps and see where he's at. So when I saw this, first of all, I told him, I want you to squat lower than barely getting to parallel, if that. And I started implementing things into his training that were going to facilitate that increase in mobility. And sometimes it's just a matter of saying squat lower, and people can squat lower. And sometimes it's a matter of forcing them to get there. So what we started to do was implement tempo. So you'll see here, Tristen's going to squat all the way down. He's going to hold it down there for, I think these are 5-second holds. Then he's going to come right up. And what you'll notice right away is he looks more upright, right? You can see his chest is a little bit more upright in that other video. He's sitting down about 2, 3, even let's say 6 inches lower. And things are looking really good. And those tempos are forcing him to stay down there into positions we're trying to strengthen. So on top of him thinking, I need to get lower, we're also implementing a training modality, these tempos that are going to force him to stay down there. And those are looking so much better. As you can see, like I'll zoom in a little bit here, and we can see in these pictures on the left, number one, he's wearing shorts, and low socks, so that's a big problem. And number two, you can see he's above parallel. His hip crease is above his knee, so quite a bit above parallel, and he's kind of tilted forward a little bit. Doesn't look like the strongest position for him, especially as that transfers over to an Olympic lift. Whereas on the right, we can see a little bit more ankle flexion. He's sitting quite a bit lower. You can see that hip is way below the knee. And it also looks like he's a little bit more upright, which is awesome. His eyes are forward. His chest is up. His back looks super strong in that position. And that's where we want to be. So these two things, so that the tempo and telling your client or telling yourself to squat lower usually works. And there's two other things, two drills that I implemented into his training that I'll show you here. The first one is the muscle snatch plus 2 overhead squats. So we'll see here, Tristen's just going to get into a good position, get that bar overhead, and then he's just going to do 2 overhead squats as low as he can, keeping a good position. He's going to hold it for 1 to 2 seconds, and that's it. He's going to do that every minute on the minute for 10 minutes. And that will be the beginning of his workout. And you can even do that almost every single day. And that's going to improve your ankle mobility, your thoracic extension, your hip mobility. It's just going to make your squat, your back squat, front squat, overhead squat that much better. So that's a great drill that we implemented with Tristen. And then the second thing we implemented was the SOTS press. You can see that on the left here. And he's just simply sitting as low as he can in a squat and pressing that bar overhead. And you'll see here he has a little bit of a balance issue, which is good. Like, we want to be challenging that bottom position and also really working on that thoracic extension, eyes forward, chest up. And you can see he does a great job of doing these SOTS presses. You can scale these. You can sit on a box or a couple plates, however low you can get, and slowly work up to this. But those are two other things we've implemented in order to take his squat from on the left here to, I think it was 2 weeks later on the right. You can see his squat is so much better. It's looking really, really good. And then from this position on the right, I'm more confident to build the load than I am on the left, where it looks like it just doesn't look like a great position to be in. So keep that in mind in your own training. If you're coaching people, make sure you have the confidence to stay at a certain level in terms of the weights you're using, and make sure that the people are getting into the positions you want them to, that are going to have them be successful. You don't need to push ahead all the time. You can stay where you're at and improve positions and also improve strength. You can see on the right, I'll play the video here. Tristen is crushing these back squats at a heavier weight than he was before, in better positions, and he's just moving all around better. So big shout out to Tristen for buying into the program and just really, really doing so well. So that's a quick video to help you guys out with your squat depth and to see where you need to be, or when you need to be squatting deeper, and a few things you can implement into your own training to make your squat better. Hope that helped, and let me know in the comments if you have any other videos you'd like me to do on any topic, and I'll help you out.